Welcome to Magnet Marketers, our weekly live show where we break down the head, heart, and hand approach to building sustainable growth in your business. During each episode, we share actual client marketing best practice examples, strategies, and tactics that will help you generate real results. Our belief? A magnet always works better than being a bullhorn to attract, retain, and build your brand. Ready to dive into this week's Relationship Marketing Training Tuesday? Well, let's get started. Here's your host, Mike Gingerich and Jessika Phillips. Yay, yay, yay. Hello, and welcome to this week Training Tuesday Live. We're Magnet Marketers. Our goal is always to help become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. And today we're diving into one of my favorite topics, Google. And not just anything with Google, but how to leverage Google to get more clients. Some things are changing, and Google is the pivotal way that we need to use to attract clients. Like every search starts with Google, mainly. Actually, 90% of all buying decisions start on Google as well. So if you did not know that, now you know. We're going to be diving into how you can leverage it, though, to attract and get more customers to your business. But before we dive in with our special guest, Byron, today and introduce him, if we've not met before, hello. My name is Jessika Phillips with Now Marketing Group in the Relationship Marketing System. And my personal mission is to help you love more, give more, and be more through the art of authentic relating. And my awesome co-host, he's Mike Gingerich. He's the president of a web development and software firm, Digital Hill Multimedia, author 5 times over, published author, and I think he's going to even do some more this year. I don't know. But triathlete, runner, biker, and leading business blogger at MikeGingerich.com. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, I am doing well and excited for this topic. I mean, Google is the place, right? And so to be diving into kind of hearing from Byron about what's happening, the latest, the greatest, because it always changes, right? It always changes. So super excited about this. Let me just jump in to get us started with intro of Byron. And, if you were at Social Media Week Lima, you met Byron there when he presented. He was a speaker there, so we all got to know him better. But for those who maybe missed that, he is the founder and chief business strategist at Azure Media. Byron Ingraham, I should have said the last name too. Byron's focus is creating innovative strategies to help businesses reach their ideal customers online and offline while maximizing their revenue potential. So Byron, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Mike. Glad to be here.
All right. What a topic, right?
Yes. Google's a great topic, but if you think about it, what word is there that's a noun and a verb at the same time?
Right on.
Seriously, Google it, right? And we were talking right before we got started even on the show, one about pets, because my cats tried to entrance their way into the chat. So I had to remove them, and you had your beautiful dog. But then we started talking about Google and the changes. And even today we learned about how Google's changing the name of the game as it relates to search and how brands can show up. And it used to be all related to keywords, and people would try the keyword stuffing, and then they would try, all the tricks. And Google's wised up to that. It's like, no, you can't rig the system anymore. I believe one of the big things for 2022 is, you agree, as we were talking offline there, is that sentiment is going to be the name of the game. And it's something that brands can't, rig or cheat the system. But right. You were talking too on big ways that brands can really get ahead of this. And that's what we want to uncover today. So I want to hit you off with that question first. Like, what do you feel brands really get wrong and what they should be looking to get right as it relates to Google?
So one of the things that I think brands get wrong so many times is losing that personal touch. Because when you think about it, people go online if you're looking at social media because they want to connect with people. But then when it comes to businesses, what do? We want to have a connection with the places we go to. Look at the coffee shops you go to. How many of them are chains where there's like a dozen of them in a short radius in a major sized city, but you typically go to one because the barista there knows your name, they know your drink. You go to like your favorite clothing store because they remember what you got the last time. It's always been about the relationship, but now it's transforming to it needs to be online as well, because this is what's going to make someone say, you know what? I'm going to choose that store, that business, because my friend said they're the ones to talk to. And unless we encapsulate that into what we're doing on Google, we miss out on a huge opportunity.
Boom.
So true. So true. You're speaking our language here, Byron. You already know. Like, relationship marketing is where it's at. And like we said, the stats show 90% all Google, or buying decisions start on Google, and people are making that deciding factor on, do I choose this brand or this brand, when they're comparing the two based upon what they feel is going to provide the best experience. So if they don't know that brand and they're basing it off of what others are saying, I was just at a Renaissance festival, for example, and I was looking at places to go for breakfast. And that's what I was looking at. I was looking at who had the photos, right? What were others saying? And
Right.
what looked like a great place to go. And that's where I made my decision, right? Like, it was on that. I was like, literally, I want that because somebody said it looked good, or it was good. And this restaurant had quick, friendly service. It was close by. And that's what we made our decision off of, because even though I didn't know those individuals that were leaving the review, I considered them peers, because
Exactly.
they were leaving the reviews just like, I did then when I left there. So I think that's what brands often forget, is that people are kind of in this Amazon kind of experience now too, that we've all been trained that we're looking for people to leave reviews and giving us insight on what it's like to work with a company. It's not just word of mouth, it's world of mouth now.
Exactly. Because you look at how Amazon has influenced the buying process. And you think of the search results. What do you see there? You have the number of stars next to it. And then you have two almost identical products. And because one has more stars than the other, which one do you choose? The one with more stars. And that's related directly over to Google. So when you're looking at businesses, oh, this one has more reviews. They must have more customers, must be busier, better experience. I'm going there. And so it becomes critical that we have that social engagement from our customers, because no matter how many commercials we come up with, how many ads we want to put out there, nothing is going to outdo that customer says, you have to use them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, Jessica, when you gave your example there, I don't know if you were on mobile or not, but one of the things that I found myself doing is I search Google Maps. I mean, and it's obviously the engines behind it of Google, and I mean that's become like this, because it immediately goes to like their Google My Business kind of review and all that information right there. So I think that's kind of perhaps a critical point to mention, is that it's not just on google.com but on mobile device. I mean, I think we're starting to use that Google Maps search not just for a direction but for information.
And here's the thing, which is even more powerful when you start looking at the map section, because a vast majority of searches are local in nature. And because of that, if you think of the search results, whether you're talking about on desktop or mobile, if it's, let's say you're looking for a restaurant near you, like let's say you want to have Mexican, kind of important since I just had tacos for lunch. But
Taco Tuesday.
Exactly. But what happens if the thing is having tacos near me? You're going to have your paid ads at the top, and the very next thing is going to be the map with the three businesses that are in the area that are most relevant and have, in terms of the location, to what you're searching for. And because of that, it's changed the dynamics of how businesses are being found. In the past, it was, oh, you just need to do regular SEO, so your business is going to rank organically. But now, no, we want to see who's in the area. We want to see the reviews that are there. We want to be able to look at the pictures. We want to see videos. We want to be able to message them. We want to be able to call them, and you can do that all right there.
Solo mo is what I always try to remember and tell clients. Jacqueline says I always search maps and when I'm in a new area too, Mike. Yeah, I search the map, and solo mo stands for social, local, mobile.
Mhm.
And that's always what I search too. I'm looking on the Google Maps, right? But then I try to see like, what are others saying? Like, is it
Yes.
a good place to go, right? So you're looking at their social reviews, which tie in, which a lot of people
Mhm.
don't know, into your Google My
Right.
Business, which is free, but then local, like what is relevant there, kind of what are the local guides saying, which those
Mhm.
are your relationships, hopefully, that you're building, or the experiences that you're providing where local people are giving you reviews, and mobile, making sure that it's optimized, right? Like if I didn't have the website that I could click to and see what the person had there to eat, or just be able to check things out, I may have moved on. So I think you're spot on. Like that's what brands need to be
Right.
considering too, right there.
Exactly. And here's another point, which is important for business owners to realize that when you have a map section that's listed there, 70% of the traffic goes to one of those three businesses that are listed. And because of that, if you're not putting your emphasis on being found there for those specific terms, you're leaving money on the table.
hmm Oh, we got a good question that came in. What can event planners do different on Google? Many of us do not have a brick and mortar location.
Okay, so this is actually applicable to a lot of businesses. And I was actually having a conversation with a loan officer just before this. So what you want to look at doing is getting a virtual mailbox. And with that, you have a physical address, which is what you need for Google.
Mhm.
So because for a
You
lot
can
of
do
businesses,
that by the way, you can do that at a UPS store. We have a brick and mortar location too, but since we're not operating there a lot of the times, you can go to UPS and get like an address there that you can have your mail sent to.
here's the thing of while UPS you can work, unfortunately sometimes it gets abused by people, so it can sometimes be shut down. So what I recommend for people to
And
use,
Lima works wherever you're at. I don't know.
Lima, well that's different because well it's Lima.
Yeah.
But in a lot of major cities, what you want to look for are local uh, virtual like executive suites. They have a virtual mailbox program. The reason why you want to look for something that's local to that city, they can have several locations, is because they're typically not going to be abused by people that would typically, let's say, use a UPS mailbox, or there's some of these companies out there where they'll have hundreds of businesses in one place. No, you don't want to use that. You want to use something that it's a real bona fide business. It's not just they throw up a sign on there and say, hey, we'll collect your mail. That's not what you want to use because Google looks at that stuff. And the reason why you also want to make sure that it's something like, let's say you have a contract with this, because if there's ever an issue, because Google sometimes changes their algorithm and because they're looking for things that can signal a fake business. And if you were to be flagged, you can say, hey, look, here's my contract of my mailing address for my business at this location. And guess what happens? They turn it back on.
Okay. So you're recommending to her that she get a virtual,
Yes.
a physical mailbox, for a virtual location for her anyway,
Right.
that type of thing.
Exactly.
And
And still claim it, by the way, on Facebook and all the other channels too, because that does come up
Yeah.
in the search results.
Right.
now
And then
does
also
does geolocation matter there?
Yeah.
Like, okay, go ahead.
And because of getting a virtual one, if you know that you want to be found in a particular part of the city because that's where people are typically looking for event planners, pick that part of the city. You're not limited to, well, I live in one part, so it has to be there. No, pick where the business is at.
Smart.
Okay. Because if people in that area doing searches and you're geolocated in that area, you have a better chance of coming up then versus
Exactly.
if you're in another part of the city.
Right, because when you're looking at the search factors, there's a couple key factors. One of them is the term that you're looking for. So let's just say it was coffee shops or just coffee there. So that's one of the primary things. The next thing is going to be the location of it. But then the key factor is going to be the relevancy. So with the relevancy of how close when you're looking at that business is to those other two, because this is what can happen. If a profile is optimized properly and has a great SEO campaign, you can outrank someone at their business location.
So true. So true. Oh my gosh, George Depanis just put in our group chat earlier today. He was like, an SEO expert walked into a bar slash, and then it had all these other keyword terms to it, like that came up. And that's what it has on your business.google.com, Google My Business profile. You can pick up to several tags, and then you have the opportunity to hit like descriptions for all your services, listing it out, links to other things. But that's going to provide, like you had mentioned, the relevancy, which Google, that's what they look for, relevancy and authority. And authority is where people are, actually sharing you out and connecting with you, and you're listed in more places. But you first have to get the relevancy, like you mentioned, down.
Right. All of those things matter. But then one of those key factors for a business when you're just getting up and running, ask your friends to leave you a review, because people want to see that. It makes a difference, because if everything was identical, you had 3 businesses that were doing all the same stuff to be ranking, you're all just ranked 1, 2, and 3. Guess what's going to happen? The one with the most reviews is the one that's going to be picked.
Yeah. You're so right. If you just ask, like sometimes we want to leave one and we just don't even think about it, but you have to make it stupid simple. Like I've had, brands that I've been at where they've had like a QR code or something straight there. Like Google provides now a direct link for people to go to your Google My Business profile. Like if you take that, turn it into a QR code or something stupid. QR codes are making a comeback. I don't know. They were trying to become hot like 10 years ago, and now they are, right? Like, but make it stupid simple for people to review, or you just ask, right? Like continue to follow up. If we delivered upon our promise of a great experience, like let us know, leave us a review. And you're right. Like that's where people are going to check, because nobody wants to make a stupid decision and choose a place that it's not going to be, up to par. But if we see a ton of people are leaving a great review, like that's where we want to be.
Exactly. And one of those other things which is going to be helpful for businesses in terms of getting those reviews, give people an incentive, make it in terms of a gamification. So let's say you have a monthly contest of all the people who leave a review this month are entered to win, let's say a $50 Amazon gift card, or it depends on the industry if you can do that or not. But when you give people an incentive, it's like, well, sure, I'll do that if there's a chance. Because you think about it, people will do almost anything for free stuff. I mean, you look at like free t-shirts. How many times have you done something because they gave you a t-shirt?
Yeah. I've filled out little information and dropped it in the bucket.
Yeah. So when you give people an incentive, that makes it easy for them to say yes.
Yeah. George says, during COVID's peak, storefronts were putting QR codes on the front glass to try to make online sales from people walking by. Such a smart idea. Yeah. Jacqueline agrees. Yeah. Incentivize it. Like I'm one, I love you, Byron. And I bet that it's a great idea. Like I'm one that's like, I feel almost like dirty if I would ask somebody, to give me a review for paying them or whatever. However, I understand how that could work. So think about like what it looks like for your industry. But I am one that I think like even getting photos or videos or things people can win, almost like a photo video contest. So it doesn't feel like you're paying them to leave a review, because I really want it to be super genuine. But like maybe even incorporate that. Like what's the importance of photos and videos on those kind of channels?
Right. Photos and videos, and we'll circle back to the whole incentive thing in a moment, but it's extremely important, because you look at, people want to see what's there. So that's going to be their snapshot to your business. So if it's a restaurant, it's an opportunity to showcase, here's the desserts you have, your main items, here's the atmosphere. If it's, let's see it, for an event venue, here's different types of events that are taking place. That's important. Then when you're looking at videos, because you can only get so much in a picture, you get 30-second videos. So you can really talk about something on there, like, hey, let me show you of our main hall, or let's talk to the chef real quick. What's special this week that you have to come in and try out? So you can use that as a way to get that engagement. And then in terms of when you're looking at creating that growth for incentivizing, do you use PayPal?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember when they first started? How did they get people to sign up?
I have no idea.
When they first got going, they were giving people money to sign up, like $10. Like, sign up, you get $10. That's how it grew from nothing to this monstrosity. They use incentives to get people to say yes. So people are used to that. of day in and day out. So that's why it works, because people's like, oh, well, sure, I'll do that. And it's just because it's a little thank you, because people love hearing thank you for doing something. Because if you think about it, what it comes down to is the concept of reciprocity. That if we're just asking for something with nothing in return, everything's out of balance. But then when you're giving someone, well, now it's an equal exchange. It's no different than, let's say, someone hires you and your team, Jessica, to do some amazing work for them. Well, they're going to compensate you for it. It's not like you say, hey, can you do this for me? And I'm not giving you crap. Well, no, you would never do it. But when there's an exchange, now it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Like find a way to, say thank you for people that are leaving a review in some way. Of course, you definitely want to say thank you, and make sure you're commenting on the thank yous that are coming in, or even responding to everything that comes in. That's for sure. I love something you mentioned about, posting. I'm not sure people realize this, and this is something we work with clients, is saying like, Google My Business now is almost like a social profile, like, because you can make posts, you can publish your events, you can put an offer, and it comes next to your Google My Business profile.
Yes, that is something that's important, because with Google My Business, for a lot of businesses out there, like restaurants, people are not even going to their website anymore, because everything they need to get for their questions are right there. I can think of restaurants I've decided to go to, like, oh, let's go here. I never looked at their website. Like, what's their menu? It was right there. Let me look at the pictures of everything. It was right there. So the more we do to keep it updated, it's that much more powerful.
Yeah, and they also, like you were talking about, Jessica and Byron. I mean, that it's become it's definitely much more social. Again, so I was on my Google Maps, had a restaurant picked out, and had a question. I wanted to see if their outdoor seating was still open. Well, lo and behold, chat now in their Google My Business. And so I was able to put out a message, and it kind of told me like what to expect for response time. I got a response. Guess where I ate there.
And that's a great thing you bring up, Mike, because a lot of business owners don't realize there's a chat function in part of Google My Business. So when I'm working with clients, one of the first things I have them do is download the Google My Business app, because that's going to give you notifications when someone sends you a chat message. Otherwise, you'll have no idea that it comes through.
Unless you sign yourself up to Business Manager. And one cool thing about chat is it doesn't show your phone number. Just a heads up.
Correct.
Like when somebody
That's messages in, privacy's okay.
Yeah. And it shows you theirs, which is cool. So like Now Marketing Group, for example, we've been set up on chat for a few years. And if you go to the profile, the person would be on a mobile device, right? They message in, and there's several different ways that they can respond, either to a frequently asked question that you've already preloaded, or to the chat, like you said, Mike. And then when you reply back, it just shows Now Marketing Group at the top. It doesn't show my cell phone number, even though it's me replying. But I have, Jacqueline, a few other team members that are added on as business managers. So in case like I'm out, like somebody else is getting that alert.
Right. And then here's something else that I think a lot of businesses don't understand or don't even know. With the events function that is on your Google My Business, those events can show up in Google search. So for example, a client of mine, they're doing an event in their city for Halloween. We put it there because guess what? Google's listing out, here's all the Halloween events in the city that you can go to. So now organically, people can find this. We're looking for, let's say, haunted houses. It's showing up right there.
Beautiful.
So powerful, much used.
Oh yeah. So there's all these things that people don't understand, because as you mentioned before, the buying decisions taking place on Google, we put so much emphasis on Facebook and Instagram, but not realizing people are going to Google to actually look for this stuff. And that's what we want to be found, because we spend so much time like trying to look at what we got to create all these major campaigns, realizing, but you have to interrupt. If you think about you're on social media to converse with your friends versus you're on Google because you're looking to a solution to a problem you have.
Yep.
Yeah, you're motivated to buy in most cases. I mean, you're looking for a restaurant, you're looking for a coffee shop, you're looking for a destination, those kind of things. You're ready to research and spend.
Right. Yeah. You're not having to interrupt them and then convince them, oh, you need to use this. It's more like, I'm hungry. This is what I want. You're there. Great. Let's do this.
Yeah. After they become a fan and use, or come to your solution, then they'll be on the other channels, which is awesome because hopefully that's when they're leaving the reviews and all that. But they're there, search intent of, like you said,
Right.
solving a problem, completing an action, and in buying mode, solving mode, and Google My Business is a big part of that. So business.google.com. If you've not already added your profile, do it. Also, if you want a recap of today's show and all the knowledge bombs that Byron's dropping, make sure you type the word recap in the chat here, and you will be greeted with a prompt to sign up to get that blog recap that will be published tomorrow with all of Byron's links. Byron, I cannot believe I told you this time was going to go fast. I don't know if you believe me or not. I definitely want to get your finishing thoughts. But before that, what's the best place for people to follow up with you and to find you online?
The best place is if you go to azuremedia.co. Yes, it is co, not .com. So that's azuremedia.co.
Awesome. So Byron, finishing that, what is the best place for brands, businesses, anyone to start right now to take action and really to take advantage of Google if they started today?
If someone's just getting started today, what I'd recommend for them to do is, one, if you don't have it, set up your Google My Business profile, get that done. And then two, as soon as you have it verified, make sure you do that. Ask your friends to start leaving you reviews and then start taking pictures, populate it with information. Google tells you what they're looking for. So just populate what they're asking for, and that will put you miles ahead of most businesses out there because most people are not even doing the basics.
Yeah, profile is 50% finished, right?
Yep, exactly.
Amen, amen, amen. Yes, they give you the cheat sheet right there. You follow the steps on the left-hand side. Get your media in, get your videos in. I mean, I can't even tell you how many locations we've worked with where we've done virtual tours, right? Like COVID, that was huge when people couldn't come in and see nursing homes, but they could take the virtual tour online. Sold, for their family member right there, having the services listed there in the descriptions. We want quick, easy, accessible, speed, and Google is the place to do that. This is such good information, Byron. As you mentioned, the best place to contact you, azuremedia.co. That is the URL. And we will have this in the recap as well with all of Byron's tips, as well as some resources that you can use to optimize your Google listing. So thanks again, Byron. Thanks again, Mike, and all of you that joining in with us this week. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I hope all of you have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Byron.
Thanks.